Hi. How are you guys? Yeah, good. It smells like curry. You smell like Brick Lane. I'm gonna be performing my single and 2 other songs from the album. I haven't done a lot of these live before, so this is kind of like some of the first live experience. I'm really excited. Ghost Town is the literal translation is obviously it's a place that's been abandoned. We wanted to find a space that felt kind of weathered and distressed, kind of spooky. And when I was looking at locations, this kind of warehouse vibe felt right because the sound of the track has got such a like an East London rave, 90s kind of feel. And now I know my heart is a ghost town. My heart is a ghost town. American Idol. I didn't think I was going to get very far. I felt confident when I auditioned. I was like, I know I can sing. I know that I could probably handle this, but I wasn't totally convinced that they were going to be into me. My heart is a ghost town.
During the show, a picture came out of you kissing a guy, and that show gets to the heart of like Middle America. What was that experience like?
Well, it was interesting because when you're a contestant on the show, you're kind of insulated from the media. It didn't really dawn on me until after the show and I started doing media interviews that I needed to come out again. I've been out of the closet since 18. I had kind of, dealt with all my insecurities on that as a teenager and had been living in LA for about 8 years, out and proud and no secrets. I want to know what terrible things have happened in here. So I'd runner up, and then we went on a stadium, or like an arena tour, the Idols, all of us. We went on this tour together. And it was like 2 months over the summer, right after the show ended. And that was a first for me, playing huge audiences like that. While we were on that tour, I was running around to different studios and trying to put together an album, my first album. So my head was spinning. I mean, I worked with Nile Rodgers and Pharrell, and those guys are like, they're geniuses, and I feel lucky that I got to work with them. It was a growing process too, because I was experimenting with like what I wanted to do with my sound. It didn't quite have the lifespan that I had hoped it was going to have. I wish it had continued and I'd gotten to release more singles and gone on tour with it. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, it's this business. It's a business of like, well, okay, back to the drawing board, let me try something else.
Your label coming to you and saying, okay, now we want a covers album, that must have just been like, no.
To be successful, I think, in this industry, you kind of have to have a side of you that's a business person and a side of you that's an artist. And on a business level, I was being objective. I was like, okay, I see that this could be a good business venture. And I thought about it for a while, and I was trying to see if my artist inside was going to respond to it. And I started listening to more of the music, and I just didn't resonate with it. Just didn't feel like what I should be doing, and I had to trust my gut on that. And it was a little scary, kind of saying like, I don't really want to do that, and I guess that means I gotta go. After I left the label, I was around LA writing and recording demos with various people that I met just kind of on my own. There was a demo that I had recorded called The Original High. I asked my team to set up a meeting for me with Max and Shellback and played them the song, and they both went, oh, this is different. This is cool, we love this. And Shellback had all these ideas on how to make the track even better. We started the ball rolling, and they after a couple days, they came back and said, you know what, actually, I think we'd like to kind of oversee your entire project. I was thrilled. I was like, yes. Because these guys are like two of the best of the business. Another day, another lonely night. I would do anything to have you by my side. I spent 2 months in Stockholm writing with a bunch of their young writers and producers called the Wolf Cousins. One of the guys that was really instrumental in doing a lot of the beats on the album, he's a DJ in Stockholm. So I went to go see him DJ a few times to kind of get a feel for what people were listening to in the clubs over there. And then a little while later, I was in London rehearsing with Queen, and I went out a few times, and was picking up on this like 90s house revival that's coming back. And I love it because it reminds me of when I first heard dance music as a kid. And what happened here? What is this? Kill? It's like a...
I got the need for speeding on a hot night, pushing 150 just to get a rise. There's no comfort in comfort, I need the edge, but the edge keeps drifting, it's all in my head. Ooh, remember back in Hollywood, the medication flowing through my veins was you. Yeah, the summer back in Hollywood, the medication.
I've lived in LA for 15 years, so I've definitely kind of seen a fair amount, and I've been on both sides of it. You know, I've been on the side of that lifestyle where you're hungry for the first big gig, and then over the last 6 years, I've been on the other side of having my own success, which has been rewarding, and it feels really satisfying. Some people, there's so many different walks of life, and so someone that really likes dance music is going to love the dance tracks, and then they might not have an ear for any of the sort of slightly R&B kind of leaning ones, or they want the ballad because that's the kind of listener they are, you know? Even once I reached certain milestones in my career, I still found myself kind of being like, well, I feel like I'm missing something. And the album kind of talks about that too. It's like, you know, we think we know what the thing is that'll make us happy, and then once we get it, it's ready for the next thing.
Chasing the